and welcome to Rubber and Ink for another Christmas card. Today we're going to be making a Christmas card that is just one layer, and we have sponging and embossing to do. But before that, you're going to be needing then a piece of white Whisper White cardstock, 5.5 by 4.25 folded, which is the standard size, and a piece of acetate. I normally cut the acetate a little bit bigger just in case on the white side. And you need a Sharpie, and you're going to draw a profile of a mountain and then cut it on the line. Acetate is really easy to cut. And you can use both sides. I'll be using the bigger side in our case. And for this card, I'm going to be using Bashful Blue. And the reason why I'm doing that is because we want to mimic snow. And it's a very subtle card. So the trick to make it look like snow and be very subtle is to ink up the sponge, and just when you're sponging, sponge it close to the cutting line of the acetate. If you cut it, when you cut your card, you see that the blade kind of marked the edges of the card. Just run the bone folder through. Otherwise, you're going to have very strong marks when you sponge. Alright, so the first one I'm going to be sponging is going to be very close to the margin here. And like I said, circular motions close to the acetate and very lightly sponge, always very close to the cutting line of the acetate. There you go. So now I'm going to flip it 90 degrees, like it was like that, and I'm going to flip it like that and put it close. And you can play with it, you know, put it on an angle. I'm putting it on an angle like that because if I do it like this, the gap is too big. So I'm going to put it in an angle and do it again in circular motion, close to the edge of the acetate. And there you go. Sponging is done. Now we are going to emboss the sentiment. I'm going to be using the Delightful Dozen Merry Christmas sentiment, and I'm going to emboss it with the silver embossing powder today. And using the Stamp-A-Majig because I cannot align anything without it. I think we don't need this anymore. And don't forget to use the buddy. The embossing buddy really works. So none of the embossing powder stays where it doesn't belong. So I want this a little bit to the right and up high. That looks good. And I'm going to ink up my stamp really well. It looks like a very good impression. And some silver embossing powder. It's okay if it warps a little bit, it goes down after a little while. Alright, now comes the fun part. You need a ruler and a black marker. I'll be using the basic black from Stampin' Up. I don't think we sell these anymore, but any marker with a very fine tip will work. And we're going to be making trees. Now, the important thing about this card is to understand how it works as far as perspective goes. So anything that's closer to you is going to be bigger, anything that's further away is going to be smaller. So I'm going to start on the left hand side on the first mountain here, and I'm going to make a 1-inch line. And again, you don't have to be absolutely precise with the placement or the sizes. Just make sure you understand that if you want it to look further away, you make it smaller. So the last tree here is going to be on the second mountain, which is further away, so it's going to be much smaller than the other ones. There you go. And now we're going to be making the branches like bare trees. So we'll start from the top, so you don't have problems with the ink running on you or anything like that. Just draw some branches in a little bit of an angle. The more random you do, the better it looks, because trees are random. And the one further away, I'm going to make very small branches and just 3 of them. There you go. We're almost done. Now I'll be putting some Dazzling Details. One thing though, because of the Dazzling Details, this card takes a little bit of time to dry. So I'm going to be put just little drops of it everywhere first. Just random drops, like the snow is falling. And then some along the branches, so it looks like the snow fell on top of the trees. So there you go. Real simple, easy card to make. Like I said, the only thing is it's going to take a while to dry. Other than that, it's highly reproducible, really easy to make. And what you can do if you're going to be making a ton of these is you do the embossing and all of the mountain, all of the sponging and the trees, and have everything ready, and then put the Dazzling Details at the end and put everybody to dry at the same time. I hope you like it, and join me tomorrow for another card. Thank you.